started. I'd like to welcome everyone to Greenville Elementary and call our meeting to order at this time. If everyone would join me in a moment of silence, please. Thank you. At this time, I'd like to turn over our pledge to Ms. Jones, and she'll introduce our group tonight.
I have some fifth graders that were also part of our welcoming committee and our archery team tonight, but leading the pledge is Miss Izzy Pope, Jackson Jones, Krista Robards, Olivia Milam, Reagan Johnson, Leland Brown, and Brady Kimber tonight.
Attention, salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all.
Very good.
At this time, board members, we need to approve the minutes of the prior board meeting, and you all have had this in your packet and had a chance to review. Are there any changes? And if not, I need a motion to approve the minutes of the prior board meeting.
I make a motion to approve.
Have a motion by Ms. Wells,
Second.
second by Mr. Johar. All in favor of approving the minutes of the prior board meeting, say aye. Aye. All opposed? I hear none. Approval of the agenda. We do have a few things that we need to amend on the agenda tonight. It'll take two motions. The first motion, and I will make that to amend the agenda by removing items A, B, C, and E. And these are regarding the Gatton Park at Breedman Elementary and the Muhlenberg South Middle School Beta Club National Convention request for donation. And also to add item M for the approval for the architect to enter into competitive negotiations with bidders on the Gene Gish and Harry Gatton Jr. Park at Breedman Elementary.
Make a motion.
Motion by Mr. Johar.
A second.
Second by Ms. Lavelle. All in favor of approving the amended agenda with the changing of the two motions? Say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? I hear none. And I need a motion to approve the amended agenda as stated.
I make a motion.
Motion by Ms. Wells.
A second.
Second by Ms. Lavelle. All in favor of approving the amended agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? I hear none. Recognitions, Ms. Embry.
Well, good evening, board members and all of you guests. Thank you, Ms. Stacy Jones, for opening up your school for us tonight and your staff. This evening's recognition is in honor of over 1,000 individuals who work to make the Muhlenberg County School District a system that provides education that instills all students the will and ability to succeed, to be lifelong learners, and to contribute to society. For the 144 days of school that has been in session as of today, an average of 23 custodians arrive in one of our 10 school buildings to turn the lights on and to prepare for students and staff arriving. An average of 70 cooks begin arriving as early as 4:30 in the morning to start breakfast preparations and then lunches and snacks. As of March 31st, there have been 686,377 meals prepared and 9,072 snacks distributed from our cafeterias here in Muhlenberg County this year. That's a lot. Bus drivers across the county set out to complete 67 bus routes. Maintenance employees manage the operations of 13 buildings across the county to ensure everything works along with 13 lawns to mow. Our technology technicians keep all of the school's district's technology up and working correctly. As the 4,700-plus students begin arriving at school, over 600 employees, including principals and assistants, office, administrative staff, teachers, monitors, aides, and psychologists are prepared for a successful day. Guidance counselors across the district, they average 1,500 hours per school year conducting ARC meetings, admissions and release committees. 7 Family Resource Center and Youth Service Center coordinators, along with 2 assistants, help students overcome barriers in order to learn. School resource officers patrol our schools, assuring the safety of our students and staff. Central office employees assure schools are staffed appropriately and provide resource and clerical support from health benefits to teacher certification and countless amounts of other duties. There are over 1,500 payroll checks issued each month and over 500 bills processed monthly. Board members meet monthly to ensure our school district is operating to the best of its ability and staying within the guidelines of the Kentucky Department of Education. Parents and family members visit our building throughout the school year for events such as parent nights, open house, orientation, plays, and more. There are over 50 adult mentors who visit a student one-on-one each week and over 650 adult volunteers helping Muhlenberg County students succeed. From sporting events to drama productions and everything in between, Muhlenberg Countyans support our school system day in and day out. Thank you, Muhlenberg County School District, for not only being the largest employer in the county, but for making Muhlenberg County a wonderful place to work and raise successful students. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Carla. We're down to our treasurer's report with Mr. Bletzinger.
Thank you, Chairman Rager, distinguished board members. Tonight I bring you the financials as of March 31st, 2018. Begin with the revenues. Our beginning balance is at $23.6 million, which is up about $5.9 million, and that's due again to the TVA funds that were received in February. Our revenues are down about $6.96 million, and that's because of the change from we received the TVA check last month. Now we don't have that. However, monthly receipts are up $140,000 from the same period last year. This is due to an increase in taxes that we've collected this year. So this month, the total monthly receipts are about $2.6 million for a total revenues of about $26.2 million. Expenditures this month. Accounts payable are approximately up approximately $58,000 from March of last year. Our accounts payable were $766,876. The significant bills that were paid in March was, again, $175,000 paid to Old National Wealth Management debt service. Our payroll is at $2.679 million. This is up $41,000 versus last month and up $35,000 versus the same period last year. However, overall expenses are down by $243,000 in comparison to last year for a total of $3.445 million. Of the payroll expense, gross pay was $2.4 million. Employee deductions about $795,000, which resulted in a net pay of about $1.6 million. About $388,000 in taxes were paid, $291,000 in KTRS, $155,000 approximately in county retirement. Insurance payments were $92,000, and other payments were $140,000 for a total of $2.679 million again. The breakdown of the accounts payable. That's for all funds. Our fixed and mixed expenses were about almost 66% at $505,000. Again, that included some debt service payments. Utilities expense are about 16%, and that's $124,000. And variable expenses were almost 18% at almost $138,000. So the breakdown of that, the total accounts payable, again, was $766,877. General fund expenses were about $443,000. Construction payment of $12,610. Debt service, $185,893. And food service and daycare was $125,377. So the ledger balance at the close of this month, cash was $14.2 million, general fund investment of $8.5 million for $22,779,000. The bank balance, bless you, at the end of the month was about $14.65 million. Outstanding checks was $389,000 for a cash close about $14.2 million. The breakdown of that cash balance of the $22.779 million, of that $14 million was general fund, which is down about $471,000, $472,000 from the previous month. Special revenue is at negative $76,000. That's basically due to timing of the receipt of our federal cash request. Construction is at $989,000, which is down to $12,000. Debt service is at negative $1.377 million, which is the $185,000 payment. Food service, $278,000. Daycare, $78,000. Community education and investments remain unchanged for $22.779 million. So the extended financial picture. In August, we expect the balance to be approximately $10.9 million. You'll notice that in June, it goes down to about 9.4, which is due to the 4 paychecks, and then it starts gaining a little bit back in July and August due to the no payments of the 12-month employee, or excuse me, the 185-day employees, excuse me. Any questions?
Questions? If not, I need a motion to approve the treasurer's report. Motion by Mr. Johar,
Second.
second by Ms. Wells. All in favor of approving the treasurer's report, say aye. Aye. All opposed? I hear none. Payments of bills and salaries, Mr. Blutzinger.
Thank you again, Chairman Rager. This month, I bring $443,000 to you. Of that, $262,000 is general fund. Fund 2 is $36,000. Debt service, another $145,000. And food service daycare is $128. Of the significant payments, again, that's about $145,000 is paid to Old Wealth Management. Lakeshore Learning Materials was, there was a check for $10,388. That's for textbooks. And Kagan Training was $8,970.
Any questions on bills and salaries? If not, I need a motion to approve. A motion by Mr. Johar to approve payment of bills and salaries, and I'll second. All in favor of paying bills and salaries, say aye. Aye. All opposed? I hear none. And payment of school bills?
They all look to be in order.
Is there anything anybody has any questions about? I need a motion to approve payment of school bills.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Ms. Wells. Second. Second by Mr. Bowers. All in favor of paying the school bills, say aye. Aye. All opposed? I hear none. And public participation, we have no public participation. We'll go on down to the superintendent report with Mr. Davis.
Thank you, Chairman Rager, board members. I have a few things. The first one, I'm glad to finally say for the first time since September, the budget, state budget, and the pension bill, they're finalized. So we have some certainty as we try to move forward. And speaking of that, we'll bring a salary schedule to you next time. We were going to this time, but then a couple of things were vetoed, and then we were a little uncertain again. So hopefully the dust is settled. We can analyze it and bring something fiscally sound to you. But I do want to commend, I don't want to just say teachers because it's been more than teachers. teachers. It's been our classified folks, our administrators, and many others, as they hopefully stood up for what we thought was wrong, some things, in the right way. And we've tried to do it in a professional way. We've tried to be considerate of our community. We have not had to close school, which we did not want to, because I know that puts some folks in some difficulty. So we tried to do a fine line, walk a fine line, where we had representation in Frankfort to try to make things better for us and our kids, and at the same time keep our community in mind as well. So we kind of walked through that. I think it went well, and I do want to thank our community. Had so many people outside of the school system that's come and that's sent emails, called, talked to us, and been so supportive of our folks, teachers and bus drivers and classified and certified alike. And that's not the case maybe everywhere, as I talk to some other superintendents. So I am very grateful, and I feel very fortunate to be part of Muhlenberg County as we kind of stood up for that. And I will say this, we have concerns about the budget. It's going to hit us some. And we have some concerns about the pension, specifically new hires. We're worried about that. However, we knew something had to be done. We knew some work needed to be done. And so, you know, we've tried to reach, I don't know if compromise is the right word, but I will say this, because of folks standing up, because of folks going to Frankfurt, kind of the American way here, the pension bill we have now and the budget bill we have now is at least $2 million per year better for Muhlenberg County. And that means better for our kids. So you're talking loss of jobs, you're talking a lot of things that would certainly affect our kids. So again, I don't want to dwell on it, but I'm just proud of folks. I think, we always try to think of the kids are watching us, and so you try to handle it the right way. You stand up when you think it's wrong, but you stand up in the right way to do it. So I could keep talking about that because I'm really proud of folks, but I will move on. Safety. We haven't forgotten about our safety issues as we move forward, because, you know, we've gone through a lot and then it kind of dies down. We haven't forgotten. We brought most of you in and we talked through things. So I want to talk with folks just a little bit about some things we're looking at. One of the things is we're checking all our doors. Some doors are a little older than others, and we may be replacing some doors. They're not necessarily cheap, but that's probably going to be happening anyway. Some of our bigger concerns are really hard to get to be honest with you, is entrances to the schools. We want to try to change some entrances. Some schools are fine. You have to be buzzed in twice. You come in, then you have to go into the office, and then you're buzzed out into the building, and some schools don't have that sit up. And that's not an easy fix, but that's something that we are looking at, trying to figure out how can we make each school safer on the entrance part. For instance, North Middle and South Middle, they're not where they need to be. Once you get buzzed in, you can be into the school. And we want to force you to have to go through the office and then be buzzed on in. So we're looking at that. Something that is happening now, Chad, you correct me if I'm wrong on this, but East and West both have what I don't know if it's called this, it's called a panic button, and then we have already actually ordered this, and it's kind of like you think of in the banks with the clerks, the tellers and all. The person at the front office will have a button that if something happens, somebody comes in, they can immediately just hit that button instead of trying to make a phone call and go to lockdown. And by hitting that button, it automatically calls 911, and at the same time, Chad, will it be a sound and a light in the building, which will signify to folks you immediately go to lockdown. So we're going to try that at East and West. If it goes as well as we anticipated it will, then the other schools with that as well. So that hopefully, do you have a timeline on that, Chad? Okay, but that's definitely in the works. I'll be bringing to you, Eric and I will at some point soon, we hope to add another SRO, School Resource Officer, with the help of the City of Greenville. They have approved it on their end. We're not quite ready to bring it to you just because it's going to be a next year thing, but we will. And so I think that is one of the number one things you can do for safety, so we're excited about that. And again, that'll be probably in the next month or two that we have that. So that's pretty much my part. Now for the best part of the night is principals and their kids. So we're going to start with Mr. Sharp in Bremen Elementary. Tell us something good in about 2 minutes.
All right. We are currently doing spring scrimmage testing today. The teachers are sitting back, feedback so that we can prepare for the upcoming state rep test in May. Math testing is going very well. Students are giving best effort. March 29th, we hosted a guys' night, and this is for 3rd to 5th grade boys. They could bring their dad, uncle, grandfather, male role model. Coach colleagues, the Mustang basketball program, talked about confidence. Ricky Allen talked about safety, and Jim Johnson talked about discipline and respect. And our girls are going to have a night this month as well, where they're going to be doing some painting. We didn't do any painting, the boys and I. We played a little basketball, had a little karate moves, ate some pizza, so a lot of fun. Kindness Matters Assembly, Junior Deputies Assembly, recently at our school. Big thank you to our community who really supports us. It's great to have. And 1 p.m. on April 27th, we have the Eagle Pride Assembly, and that's where our 5th grade students will be giving out our career presentations. So we invite you guys to come to that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jar. Ms. Hicks, Central City Elementary.
Central City, we have our 3rd and 4th grade music offering to visit the Confucius Institute as part of our Confucius classroom grant, and they spent the whole day and actually had an authentic Chinese meal as well. We have completed our scrimmage testing this past Monday. We had school-wide scoring that we like to email along with that. As today we had analysis of that data. So we spent the day looking at that data and what we need to do. So it's for all the level of scoring provision and distinguished. We also have on April 13th, that's Friday, we had about 30 presenters from Emory County High School as well as some professional organizations who presented Ag Day for our students. So we had horses and dogs and fish and some other animals there. Had a beautiful spring day for it, so it was a little windy, but it was a beautiful one day, and that was quite enjoyable for our students.
Thank you, Ms. Higgs. And I was able to stop by there, and I commend Mr. McElwain and Mr. Cronin for having put that together. That was amazing. It was at Greenville today, I think, wasn't it, Stacy? Okay, well, Ms. Jones, you may want to talk about that. Greenville Elementary.
Well, you believe it or not, just a few hours ago, we had a horse and cat and goats just right out that way. So, a big thanks to our custodians for getting things back in order. But I think Ms. Bugs for allowing. Now, Miss Oaks and Mr. Benton came today and brought all of the high school kids. And I just can't brag enough on our high school students, how well they interacted with our students, and they just did a phenomenal job. Also, the high school kids came with Vicki aunts and the community members that put on the Kindness Matters last week, and also our Sheriff's Department with the deputy program. Even have to give a shout out, Mr. Blake got attacked by the German Shepherd because I was too chicken to do it. So that was, I appreciated him doing that, proud of him, and he's here to talk about it today.
And he's thankful.
Also, I want to give a shout out, of course, I've spotlighted our clubs before. A few of our after-school club projects are displayed today. We've got our Energy Club kid posters that are displayed. Our Leadership Club has created some testing strategy posters that are laying out on the cafeteria tables. And also our Art Club, their original work that they just actually completed yesterday afternoon at their Art Club meeting is on the window.
Nice.
We wanted to show you all that. Tonight I want to bring up some very special students and recognize them. So I'm going to ask, just as I call their name, they're going to line up before they have practice. Miss Reagan Johnson, Izzy Pope, Addie Fleming, Jocelyn Hawkins, Cameron Henry, Gracie McPherson, Haley Davis, Snyder Allgood, Olivia Milam, Krista Robards, Megan McLean, Jackson Jones, Jade Nelson, Leland Brown, Braden and Dylan Hembry, and then, yes, everybody's here today. And also their coaches. This is our 2017-18 archery team. Their coaches that have put in just countless hours with them. There's Casey Hambrick, Angie McPherson, also Mr. Charles Wiseman. And Mr. Wiseman is also an employee at our Job Corps Center here locally, so I appreciate him taking the time to come after school to do that. Brian McLean, I don't believe he can be with us tonight. Ruth Brown and Chris Garrett as well. So just real excited. This team, of course, went to state competition in Louisville on March 30th. They got their highest score as a team there at state. That was pretty nervous. They were anxious that day before, but they definitely proved themselves shoot some scenarios with them. So, and they gave me some pointers as well. So I appreciate that. Just want to give a big applause. I think Ms. Carla's going to take a picture of you all before you go to practice. So, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Jones. So you shot some bows and arrows?
Yeah, oh, sorry. Actually, I'm tell them what I did. I hit the target the first time. So I did just throw them up.
Thank you. Ms. Armour from Longest Elementary.
Well, we as well are doing our archery tonight, our little sharpshooters. We got to stand up. This group is made up of 13 4th and 5th graders, and we're extremely proud of the work they've done this year. They also qualified for nationals, so they will visit that in May. And Ms. Oates is our coach. She has some statistics she would like to share with you for a moment. We had a very successful season. Surprisingly, we were a very small team this year. We had our doubts, but we got together and very proud of this team. A lot of these kids started out as second graders, and things have changed in the NAS program since then. They're not allowed to start until 4th grade now. So these guys have been hanging out with us for a while, and I'm just very proud of them and all that they've accomplished. This season alone, they took first place in the longest tournament. First place in Adairville, second place at Russellville High School, second place at Middle School, second place at Lewisburg, third place at Morgan County Elementary, and third place at Logan County High School. And we have Zoe, she's the one that's coming up with us for a long time. This is Zoe Hudson. And of all the academic archers that were turned in to the state, to be an academic archer, which we have on our team, you have to have a really good grades, of course, and leadership skills. And she was one of the 10 that was chosen at the state level, and she was recognized in the state competition. So I'm very proud of her for that. We have some individual awards that we've gotten throughout the season. Zoe was the one that took top honors in female division in some of our different tournaments, and Austin Walker took top honors in 5th grade male division at one of our tournaments locally. So just really proud of these guys and want to give them a hand and wish them good luck with nationals.
Good job. Congratulations, guys. Mr. Wells, South Elementary.
We have completed all of our work ready, grant, and ready for paid activities as of last week. And quite a bit of things to do this year. This year, our school smiles and quality care for kids have seen over 280 students. They were there this week. Our Junior Beta Club will sponsor Spirit Week next week to raise money for the Sadie Beth Smith Scholarship. Got a couple events coming up concerning Hugheskirk alumni. Their banquet will be at our school on the 28th, and Drakesboro alumni will have their banquet on May the 12th. Testing kickoff will be April the 30th. Special thanks to Mr. Brian Lyle for helping us secure an epic juggling act that will entertain and also encourage our students right before we head into the final stretch before testing. A special thanks to Mr. Davis, Mr. Blessinger, Ms. Higgs, and Mr. Hardison for their time in answering many questions that we have about school daycare centers. Our Family Resource Center has had surveys done over several years, and it is a need in our part of the county. And we hope to bring a proposal to you all soon that will help meet this need. If you're familiar with our school, we've added more seating to our Sunset Cafe. Students love that. We already have 70 kindergarten students pre-registered. That's a large number for us at this time of the year, so that's good. And finally, on March 28th, the leadership of Muhlenberg team toured our school. That's part of the Chamber of Commerce. And this tour was conducted and led by two of our students in our after-school leadership club. Those students were 4th grader Haley Henson and a 5th grader Hayden Benson. They did a wonderful job. And our MSES Student Leadership Club sponsor is Jessica Biddle. So we've had a lot of things going on here lately. That's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Wells, and we should give a little shout out to your folks. Was the Miss Sherrod, Mr. Wells, Miss Sherrod, and Miss Meadows, that's been pretty instrumental in the daycare thing.
Yes, sir.
And I want to give them a shout. They're really working hard to see if they can make that work. I know at Bremen, we kind of lost ours. We had some trouble with it, and it's just kind of hard to sustain, but they're really working on it to try to make it work. And it's a lot of extra work at no extra pay. They're doing it for all the right reasons. So that'll be more later on that, but I want to commend you and your staff as well. Mr. Devine, North Middle.
Thank you, Mr. Davis, board members. North Middle archery team, we also competed at the state archery tournament in Louisville in late March. North Middle placed 10 out of 109 middle schools with a team score of 3,293. They will also advance to the Nationals in Louisville on May 12th. They finished the regular season with 9 first place wins, 2 second place wins, and 1 third place win throughout the year. Shandy Littlefield, who's our head coach over there, I want to recognize her. She's very active in not only middle school and Longest as well. As far as our band, the North Middle 7th and 8th grade band, led by Jill Page, attended the KMEA Performance Assessment on April 12th. That's a WKU. They received a distinguished rating from all 3 judges and also received a distinguished on the sight reading portion of the assessment with a 4th judge. So congratulations to our band, our middle school band. Some upcoming events at North Middle, a couple of these things going on. STEM Fair will be tomorrow, starting at 6 o'clock. That's going to be in the gym. Please stop by and view the projects produced by our students at North Middle. It's always a good time, Mr. Chappell, and other teachers and students have worked hard on that. So come out and support them. Also, we have a parent-daughter self-defense training on April 24th. That's going to be from 5:30 to 7:30. And that's by Master Jim Johnson and the Newburgh County Taekwondo. So a lot of stuff going on in North Middle.
Thank you, Mr. Devine. Mr. Lyle, South Middle.
Just kind of echo what Mr. Devine shared about the band. Good news for Mr. Stovall at the high school. Both North Middle and South Middle bands were straight distinguished across the board, just like Mr. Devine just mentioned. So we're very proud of Mr. Watson at South Middle and our band students there. Again, both schools straight distinguished. That's very impressive. That was at Western. Also tonight, actually right now is our mother-daughter night there at South Middle. Ms. Randolph, our guidance counselor, she leads that event. Her husband does all the cutouts and things and provides those to our students and their parents. Tonight, I think they're decorating wooden flower cutouts. So a lot of fun happening tonight. So thank y'all very much.
Thank you, Mr. Law. I think that was snowed out before, wasn't it?
Yes.
Ms. Bumps, Monroe County High School.
Thank you, Mr. Davis, board members, good evening. Lots of many things going on, of course, at the high school. We've heard some of those already to continue on with archery. As a matter of fact, our bass team left out today to compete at regionals this weekend, so hoping that they do well enough to compete at state in a couple of weeks and get a 4th state trophy at that, as they are a successful program. As I said earlier, our archery team as well, very successful. As a matter of fact, they'll be competing in both the KHSAA state tournament later on in May, as well as the NASP. So very pleased with their performance too. Other things that we've been very excited about as well are that we had 12 students to be accepted into a Governor Scholars Program. We had 1 student to be accepted into the Governor Scholars of the Arts Program. And hot off the press this morning, 1 student accepted into the Governor Scholars of Entrepreneurship this morning. So excited about that, as well as 1 student accepted into Gatton Academy for the upcoming school year in 18-19. Along with that, our engineering has been very busy this month. Our students, female students, went to the Girls in Engineering Day at Madisonville Community College. I think we have another day of it coming up as well. And as Gabe and Liam are getting up here to get some things ready, I'm going to turn it over to them in just a moment to demonstrate for you all what our Principles of Engineering class have been doing in there. But before I finish with that, also our students have been finishing up with their field testing of our end-of-course assessments in biology, English 2, and Algebra 2. So as always, many things going on in Mustang Nation, and very excited about those events. So as Liam and Gabe coming up, Gabe Ashby is the son of Leslie Ashby and Ross Ashby, and Liam Finnegan is the son of James and Patricia White. So I'll turn it over to them. And their teacher, Krista Thompson, as always, easy to be in the engineering department.
Hi. Like Ms. Plum said, we're principals engineering, the sophomore level class. I'm Gabe, Lim, and we were assigned with a task to pick from 7 different tasks to pick a project to build. And we picked the automated guided vehicle, which is supposed to move forward a certain amount, weigh a certain amount, go back, and repeat. It's supposed to, theoretically, it's supposed to load something, but also work size. Well, there's also a switch, which is emergency stop in case someone can't hit with it.
That's not
Keep going.
Require them to write coding programs, so very excited about that opportunity.
Great job, gentlemen. Thank you. Mr. Watkins, Renaissance Center.
We can tell back as follows, but several of our students have created projects for display of the secret grant, co-fair in Hopkins County. That's something that our students take very seriously every year. Our school was awarded over $4,000 to this grant this year. Students have created art projects that include drawings, clay sculptures, 3D coal mining equipment, some have written poems, created simulations of coal mines, and even one student wrote, recorded, and created a video of a song about coal in Muhlenberg County. We have several students that will travel to the coal fair on April 25th, next Wednesday, to see all the projects in the surrounding counties that have been submitted to the coal fair. The winners will be chosen the night before, so if any of our students win, attached to their project will be a ribbon. Last year, we had a student that was the grand prize winner, he won $600, so we're looking forward to that possibly happening again. And the t-shirt competition has already taken place, and one of our students has won $100 for winning the t-shirt design, and all the students that participated in the coal fair will be given this t-shirt. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Good job.
Ms. Carla, would you like for some folks to go out now and get pictures of them at this point, or how do you want to do that?
I think most groups have left. I haven't, if longest group would like to come out, that would be great, and I'd like to get the gentleman out there, if you don't mind, with Ms. Thompson.
And that concludes Superintendent report. Thank you.
Beyond me.
House on fire on Woodruff Lane.
I know what Woodruff Lane is.
That's down, where's that?
Here in the county? Here in the county?
Kind of around Beachmont area.
We're going to go on down to the personnel actions. Ms. Browning?
Good evening, everyone. For personnel actions for the period of March 6th through April the 11th, 2018, certified personnel employment, there were 2 actions. Reassignment of certified personnel, 1 action. Resignation of certified personnel, there were 8 actions. Classified personnel employment, 4 actions. Resignation of classified personnel, 6. Reassignment of classified personnel, 3.
Thank you. And attendance and enrollment and report. Mr. Freeman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, board members. I have the attendance report for the 7th month of our current school year, February 22nd through March 21st. We were at 93.55 for this month, compared to 93.30 for this time last year, so up a quarter of a point of a percentage, which is good. For the year, we're at 94, exactly right on the number, compared to 93.97, up 0.03 of a point overall for the year. Enrollment, we are currently at, as of March 21st, 4,583, compared to last year, 4,737. That's down 154 from the last year's 7th month. It's down 123 from the last day of school, which is about 2.7%, which is about what's sort of projected. Down 28 from last month this year. And the enrollment today, the 19th of April, we have 4,585, which is up 2 from last month. So hopefully we can get somewhere around that 4,600 level before we end school. So, any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we're down to item D, to consider request from Tourism Commission of Greenville to use Martin Hall as rain day location for 3 concerts. Mr. Manningham?
And I don't believe Mr.
Senator.
Manningham is here this evening, but he went over that. He discussed that Monday evening. Basically, in case of rain, that they would use Felix Martin Hall on those events.
Need a motion to approve? Motion by Mr. Johar. I'll second. All in favor of considering the request from the Tourism Commission of Greenville to use Martin Hall as a rain day location for the 3 concerts that are scheduled, say aye. 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 All opposed? I hear none. Down to item F, approval of the Muhlenberg South Elementary School's 2017-18 textbook purchase.
Good evening, Chairman Rager and board members. Muhlenberg South Elementary has prepared 2 textbook plans outlining how they wish to spend a portion of their $16,729.42 textbook allotment that was carried over from the 2016-17 school year. They're requesting to spend $8,295 on Social Studies Alive for their 5th grade students and $5,186.11 on Elevated Science textbooks for 4th grade students. This will leave their balance at $3,248.31 in their 2016-17 allotment. So Muhlenberg South Elementary is purchasing items that aren't currently on the state textbook adoption list, so they have done all of the off-list notification paperwork that is necessary in order to make this purchase, and we have approval from the state already also, and we're just waiting, hopefully, for board approval.
Thank you. Any questions? If not, I need a motion to approve the textbook purchase for South Elementary School.
Make a motion.
Motion by Ms. Lavelle, second by Mr. Johar. All in favor of approving the textbook purchase for South Elementary School, say aye. 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 All opposed? I hear none. Down to item G, consider the food service community eligibility provision for elementary, middle, and high schools for the 18-19 school year.
Chairman Rager, board members, I'm coming to you again this year to see if you all would approve us to be a CEP district, which will allow all children of Muhlenberg County to eat breakfast and lunch free at no cost to the board. Any questions?
I need a motion to consider the food service provision.
I make a motion.
Motion by Ms. Wells.
Second.
Second by Mr. Bowers. All in favor of considering the CEP for elementary, middle, and high schools for the 18-19 school year, say aye. Aye. All opposed? I hear none. Down to consider the 18-19 technology plan. Mr. Wells.
Chair and board members, this is the yearly submission of the district technology plan for July 2018 through June 2019. It details our current environment, the goals we set, how we evaluate technology purchases and initiatives. Included in this plan is a projected budget and detailed in summary form. And we're also asking to be able to purchase our expected expenditures, especially student and teacher workstations that we'd like to install during the summer. We've received several bids on those right now. We're evaluating those bids, and if given approval, we'll purchase those in the next couple of weeks.
Any questions? If not, I need a motion to approve. Motion by Mr. Johar. Second by Ms. Wells. All in favor of considering the 18-19 technology plan, say aye. Aye. All opposed? I hear none. Approved job posting for the school psychologist. Ms. Finley.
Good evening. I'm here tonight to talk to you just a second about the school psychologist position in our district. For the past 20 years or so, we've had at least 4 or 5 employed every given year. This year we have 4. 3 are fully certified, 1 is an intern. And at the end of this school year, the intern's contract will terminate. And so we need to go into next school year with the posting for a fully certified position. So I come tonight asking you to approve that.
Thank you. Any questions? Need a motion to approve the job posting? Motion by Mr. Johar, and I'll second. All in favor of approving the job posting for the school psychologist to make 4 for the district, say aye. Aye. All opposed? I hear none. Down to approval of the certified evaluation plan for the 18-19 school year. Ms. Browning?
Yes. This is something that we discussed at the work session the other night. Basically, this is the evaluation plan for all of the certified employees in the district. Every year, with the exception of last year because of some legislative changes, we have to get your approval every year, but then we have to submit it to state after it is approved by you. Last year we did not, but we do this year. So what I'm asking you tonight is to approve the plan and sign off on the list of assurances, and then we will submit it to state, and any changes or revisions they require us to make, we'll come back with our committee, meet, and make those changes.
Are there any questions? Need a motion to approve the CEP for the 18-19 school year.
I make a motion.
Motion by Ms. Wells, second by Mr. Johar. All in favor of approving the certified evaluation plan for the 18-19 school year, say aye. Aye. All opposed? I hear none. Down to the next item. To consider declaring and replace Felix Martin Hall speaker surplus. Mr. Blutzinger.
Thank you again, Chairman Rager, board members. This is basically the board at the Felix Martin Group has approved allowing them to sell the speakers that were replaced. The center stack has now been replaced with 2. They'd like to sell those speakers and use those funds to put back into operating expenses for Felix Martin Hall.
Any questions? Not, I need a motion to approve declaring speakers surplus. Motion by Mr. Johar.
Second.
Second by Ms. Wells. All in favor of considering declaring the speakers of the Felix C. Martin Hall surplus, say aye. Aye. All opposed? I hear none. We're down to consider the annual KDE audit contract of Carr, Riggs, and Ingram. Mr. Blutzinger.
And thank you. This is the agreement that the state has signed every fiscal year. We have to sign basically the same boilerplate agreement with the auditor this year. It's the Carr, Riggs, and Ingram. This is the 3rd year on our 3-year agreement with them. And the cost would be $28,700 again. They only went up $100 this year. Excuse me. So I'm asking that you all approve the contract, the KDE contract.
Need a motion to approve the audit contract?
This contract's not new, we just have to submit it to the state, because we agreed to use them for the 3 years previously, but every year the state wants us to...
Right, so next year, whoever we're with, I'll bring you, and it'll look the same thing, it'll just have 18, 19. So this is for this current fiscal year, so when we do the fiscal year 18 audit, this contract covers that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Need a motion to approve? Motion by Mr. Johar.
Second.
Second by Ms. Wells. All in favor of considering the audit contract with Carr, Riggs and Ingram for the 19 year, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? I hear none. We're down to item M, which was added tonight, and this is for approval for the architect to enter into competitive negotiations with bidders on the Gene Gish and Harry Gatton Jr. Park, and this is the park going to be located at Bremen Elementary.
Yeah, I'll take that, Chairman Rager. Craig Thomas was here Monday night and spoke about this. Unfortunately, a couple things didn't go the way we wanted them to for the Bremen project. We only had 2 bidders. We were hoping for several, and it actually took a while just to get 2. We just had 1 for a good while. And then when the bids came in, we opened those early this week or late last week, I forget, but they were quite a bit over what was projected. So that's going to mean going back and possibly, reducing some things, plus letting the 2 bidders, Craig recommended that we let them, they can sit down now since it's just those 2, and they can negotiate, and we can basically play them against each other, as we also probably try to cut back on some things at that park. So this is just the board's approval to allow that to happen.
Any questions? If not, I need a motion to approve for the architect to enter into competitive negotiation for the Bremen Park. Motion by Mr. Johar. I'll second. All in favor of going into competitive negotiations through the architect for the Gene Gish and Harry Gatton Jr. Park at Bremen, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? I hear none, and we're down to the board consent agenda. Leave of absence requests, facilities use, fundraising, and field trip requests. You all have had an opportunity to review all of that. Are there any problems or issues? If not, I need a motion to approve.
I make a motion.
Motion by Ms. Wells. Second by Mr. Bowers. All in favor of approving the consent agenda, say aye. Aye. All opposed? I hear none. Need a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion.
Motion by Mr. Johar, second by Ms. Wells. All in favor of saying adjourning, say aye. Aye. All opposed? We are adjourned.